I was born in the early 70s. The reason why I say that is because things were a lot different back then. We had more people that believed in God. More people that believe that Jesus died for your sins. Now, people don't care. They don't know, or maybe they know, but they don't care. They choose not to. And one thing is, I was pretty much born in the church. Not literally, I was born in a hospital, and my family owned the church. So right out of the hospital, Grandma was like, take the baby to the church and give him to God. So I was, I always knew Jesus from birth. And, we had to go to church. Hey, we learned the truth about, what actually our history and everything. And my grandma, she told us everything. So, even though we were taught different things in school, and now a lot of those things are coming out that wasn't true, that we were taught. And I'm like, oh, I knew. I was told when I was a kid that Columbus didn't really discover America. So I was like, okay, how can you discover something that, when people are already here? There were black people here too. They were natives and they were black. I don't know if there's other races too, but, I know, there were black people here. Anyways, it's not why I'm on this channel. So that's not why I'm making this video. But what I'm trying to say is that, I when I was growing up, the neighborhood raised me. Man, if I got in trouble, man, everybody came out to whoop my butt. One time, let me tell you a story. One time, me and my old friend Tig, back in California, we was probably around 8 or 10. I can't remember exactly. We were young, and I went to his house, and it was just right up there, about a block up the road, and he had a cigarette. So we're in the barn, in the hay barn, smoking a cigarette, and he takes a couple puffs of it and pass it to me. So I take a couple of puffs, I flick the thing. I didn't know what I was doing. All of a sudden, the hay catches on fire. So we running out, and his mom comes out because she sees the smoke, and she hears us yelling or whatever, trying to get the water hose or whatever. And my dumb self, still got the cigarette in my hand. She sees the cigarette, and so she starts spanking my butt and spanking him for, tell me what happened. So we had to tell her what happened, whatever. So we got spanked by her, and she sends me home. I didn't know she had called my mom on the way home, on my way home. I'm crying, right? I'm walking home, and all of a sudden I see the whole neighborhood coming out. Miss Brooks, she's the first one right there. She got a switch. First, I know she didn't have a switch yet. She made me get the switch. So I had to climb this tree, go on up there and get that switch right there, that nice big one, right? So she's an old lady, and she's outside waiting for me. I had to go get the switch, and she actually made me get 3 of them, and she braided them. So they'll last, because she knew I got to take it to Miss Hughes down the street. Miss Johnson was waiting for me. Mr. Hall and them, they were all waiting for me. And man, I'll tell you, if I got so many whoopings that day. After Miss Brooks got me, she sent me down to Miss Hughes and them. So Miss Hughes, she got me, and then I had that same switch. Take this on down there so they can have a piece of you too. So I'm crying. I got the switch. I take it down the street. Miss Johnson, she got me. We had a lot of women in the family, especially during the day. The women, the big mamas, they was in the neighborhood watching us. So we couldn't do nothing wrong. The men, most of the men were at work. So the problem was, the thing was, I had to wait till my stepdad got home after my mom got a piece of me. So man, so when he gets home, he hears the story, so he was my butt too. I probably got 15 whoopings that day because, you know, they mad because we live out in the country, and I got the police out there, the fire department, the ambulance, everybody showed up, and you got all these police out here in the neighborhood and stuff, and you know, we don't want them out here, so I caused a bunch of ruckus that day, me and team. And so what I'm trying to say is that we don't have the structure like when I was growing up, you know. It's way different now. Even, you know, it's just nobody's watching these kids, you know. Man, I got so much to say, but you know, in these little videos that I'm trying to do, I want people to understand that when someone else disciplines your child, it's not a bad thing, unless it's wrong. You know, you don't have to beat your kid, you know, to make him listen. You don't have to do all that, you know. But sometimes you might have to smack them on their behind. You might have to smack their hand when they touching something. Okay, you know, they need to learn. They need to learn that that's gonna hurt. Okay, and they learn. Like when my kids were little, I didn't have to beat my kids to make them listen. You know, when they really did something really bad, yes, I spanked them butt with this. I spanked their butts with this big black hand right here on the fat meat in their behind. And I told a cop that one time, and he couldn't do anything. So I had CPS at my house because my daughter had said something at school which wasn't true. She had a broken arm and said she lied and said she did it somewhere else and whatever. But she broke her arm at school, and I took her to the hospital that day and got a cast on it. I was doing my duty as a father, took care of my child. All of a sudden, CPS is at the school and at the house, and I told him, hey, you at the wrong place. You better go to the school because she broke her arm at school. So, you know, I gave them a fight. They asked me if I spanked my child, and I said, yeah, I do. Well, how? I said, with this big black hand right here on the fat meat in their butt. And I was serious too. They searched my house. They see my kids was well fed. They had toys. They had their bunk beds. They had their own room, and they didn't have no bruises on them. And, you know, they seen that I was a strong father that was there for my kids. And, you know, they didn't have, you know, their mothers wasn't there. So, you know, they left. And I told them, I said, you need to go back and do some more research and find out the truth. So after that, I never heard anything else after that from them. But anyways, you know, if someone came to me when my kids was little and told me that they did something wrong, I'm gonna go discipline my kid, you know, and thank that person for looking out for my child, you know. And now when someone says something about someone's child, they want to fight the parent, or they want to fight the teacher, or the parent wants to fight the person who, you know, because they child is acting up, talking sassy, and acting up in school or whatever, you know. My mom used to come to the school and sit right behind me and make me do my work. If I wasn't doing it, she'd slap me in the back of my head. Focus, you know, get your eyes on that work. Of course, I was, being well behaved while she was there, you know, but. You know, see, the thing is, you know, I didn't have my real dad most of my life, but, you know, he was in and out. I had my stepdad, and I can't blame him for not being like a father figure. He was there. He was a guy that tried to help, you know. He wasn't the best guy, you know, in the world, but, you know, I don't blame him for, you know, some of the things that happened when we were growing up, because he kind of neglected, you know, a lot of us, because he would, you know, go to work, come home, and just go in his room, and not really, you know, do anything with us. Sometimes we had fun with them, and sometimes, you You know, things were cool, and I have a lot of memories with when we had BB guns. We were out shooting birds. That was wrong. I know that was wrong, but I was a kid. I didn't know no better. He was shooting them, I'm shooting them. Okay, whatever. So I remember that. And then we got remote control cars. So, and we used to go to the races and race remote control cars. I'll never forget that. That was a good moment between me and him. That's something that me and him did. And then when that ended, it was like nothing really. So I mean, I grew up, but you know, anyways. And he actually, you know, went his separate ways. And my mom got a divorce later on, as when we were adults. But anyways, the point of this video is that, you know, I'm just watching the world today, you know, 2024, and I'm looking at these kids. You don't see kids going outside anymore. You don't see, you know, kids riding a bike, playing basketball. At the schools, we used to go to the school. I used to go, you know, knock on doors. Hey, is Johnny and them at home? You know, can they come out and play? I want to play some football. Because hey, look, if we want to play football, baseball, whatever, we knew that so-and-so down the street had a football. Okay, he got a football for Christmas. Let's go get him, and we get everybody else, and we was playing tackle football. So if we got hurt, we better not come home to murder. You know, what was y'all doing? But anyways, but we didn't get hurt like that. We was, you know, kids. So, you know, same thing with baseball. We got to go find some kids in the neighborhoods. Johnny and them got a bat. Sharon and them, they got the mitts, you know, and we needed, nobody had a ball. we always hit the ball over the fence, so nobody ever had a ball. So there was always this little corner store that we would bring in our bottles and cans, and they used to pay us for the bottles and cans, 10 cents a bottle. And we go over there and get as many as we can, and the ball might have only cost 50 cents. During this time, when it was probably like 85. And you know, so we, you know, go to the store. He always kept the baseballs for us because he knew we was gonna come in there and buy some balls. And we figured it out how to have fun and, you know, with the kids in the neighborhood, and we made up games. You know, and you know, it's just all I'm saying. It's just right now, it's just a different time from when I was growing up, man. This is so different. And when I try to tell people, even like my own kids, how it was back then, they say, "Oh, that's old. It's different now." I said, "Well, no. I'm watching the world change in ways that it shouldn't." Which I know Revelations is revealing itself right now. And I'm telling people, everything that's going on in the world, it wasn't like that before. I mean, it's you know, it's like I was called a conspiracy theorist, whatever, back then. When I said, okay, yeah, they're gonna have surveillance everywhere, they said, no, they can't do that. How can they watch the whole world? Well, they can now. They can. They got satellites and they got cameras everywhere, and they got 5G and all this stuff to where they can track you on your car and all this stuff. And they said, well, how can they find out where people, if I'm out in the woods, whatever, how can they find me? So, well, if you got your phone on you, yeah, they can find you. But back then, you know, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have none of that. You know, and, you know, you know, I remember when beepers came out. You know, and that was, you got a page, you got to find a phone now. You got to find a phone booth. Now you can't even find a phone booth. If you in trouble, if you don't have your phone, if you don't have bars in your phone, you stuck. There ain't no phone booth. We used to have phone booths on the side of the freeway for emergencies. Now, nope, none of that. So if you're stuck on the side of the freeway and you needed a phone, there used to be, you walk maybe a mile or so, you'll find one of those. It was a little white phone. You can dial I think a couple numbers, an operator, and they'll pass you through. Whatever. I never had to use them, but I remember seeing those phones. And you go to any gas station, you'll find a phone booth. And man, I'm just saying, it's just different now. Everybody's got a cell phone. And when God said, when he comes, or Jesus said, when I come, the whole world's going to know. The whole world's going to know that Jesus is here. And I wondered that back then too. Like, how's everybody going to know? I'm thinking of a huge Jesus in the sky, and still could be, but he's going to be here on this earth gathering his people. And, I was wondering all these things, but maybe they're going to use cell phones. Maybe they're going to, I don't know. Jesus, everyone's going to know. I don't think Jesus needs a cell phone or to use one. I'm sure that. But, I know I'm just ranting and I'm just talking, but I'm just trying to let these young kids know that, yes, things was different when I was growing up. And I consider that, I had a great life. And I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, And now I just wish that these kids didn't have so much technology and stuff in their rooms and in their house that they don't ever have to leave. I was raised out in the country, so I had a good few acres to run on. And we had cows, we had chickens early when I was younger, and when I got older. All that went away. I don't know where it went when I was real young, but we had chickens, we had geese, whatever you want to call it. So we had, so I got to, chase the chickens and stuff, and goats and all that, when I was real young. So I had a really good taste of the country life. You can call me the country boy. People would say, call the town or the area I lived in the country. So, it was a lot of, field, a lot of cows, and, people had horses and stuff. So there was a dairy right across the street, so they, turned the manure, so the whole town would smell like manure. And we got used to it. But you go outside sometimes, you're like, you can't even go outside, it smells so bad. And but we got used to all that. And we go to the neighbor's house and ride horses and stuff. One time my cousin, not my cousin, my uncle stole a horse. We were so young, we didn't know where he got the horse from. And all of a sudden my mom see the horse in the yard, and we jumping on it, we ride it in the yard and stuff. And my mom said, where y'all get that horse from? And it was one of the neighbor's horses. And all of a sudden, here comes the neighbor. Hey, that's my damn horse. He's like, give my damn horse, you slanter. He didn't like us. So, and my whole life I heard he was racist, but we don't know. Well, I never really talked to the guy. I just knew he lived across the street. And, I forgot the guy's name. But anyways, he did not like us. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if because we stole his horse, but anyway, but we were just kids. But living in the country was great. It was, we had a lot of fun. And like I said, we went outside, and I would be outside all day eating plums off the trees, apples. We had blackberries. We had all kinds of stuff out there. And when I was younger, my grandma, she had a garden, and I'd be out there with her pulling weeds by hand. We didn't have any, weed killer or none of that. And we'd go out there on our hands and knees and pull the weeds out. And if there was a gopher, oh yeah, we got the water hose, and we would flood him out. So we did everything the old-fashioned way. So if we wanted a gopher out of there, we got him out of there. We were digging in the yard. We tore up the whole yard trying to find him. He wasn't getting in our garden. Anyway, so, I'm just looking at the world now. It's just so different. And you know, I tried raising my kids old school, you know, good, make them, you know, learn their manners and be very respectful. You know, I think I, you know, I scared the heck out of me. I was a Mustang. Sound like a gorilla. Anyways, so I think I did a pretty good job, you know, because, you know, my kids are good and I don't have to worry about them, you know, but sometimes I wish I can go back and live the easy life. But that's why me and my wife, we moved out of California. Now we're in Oklahoma. It's a country town pretty much, you know, and where we're at is country. And we're trying to get deeper into the country. And we got a, you know, and we only got an acre right now, but, you know, we got chickens. And she wants goats and different animals and stuff. She says she wants a donkey too. We'll see once we get more land. But yeah, you know, I was watching, you know, this thing earlier about, no, actually I'm gonna start here. When I was raising my kids growing up, their mothers was giving me a hard time, you know, and I wanted to be a father. I actually got custody of my son at an early age from his mom. She wasn't really a big problem, but my daughter's the mom. I have two daughters, and well, one of my daughters passed away. We'll talk about that on another video. But I had two daughters with her, and she would give me a hard time and didn't want me to raise my kids. And I want to be a father. Wanted, you know, well, I still, you know, I want to be a father. And now my kids are grown. They're grown now, but back then, you know, I didn't understand why was she pushing me away from my kids, and why she didn't want me to be a father to my kids. And she would lie, cheat, and say all these things to discredit me. And it was just sad how a woman could do that to a man that actually wants to be a father. You know, the thing is, I was watching something earlier where the mother was pushing the father away pretty much, and the father was there trying to tell the mother to, you know, to let him discipline his child, his boy, you know, teach him how to be a man. All right, and I don't understand. You was with that man. You obviously think that he was a good enough man for you to have a kid with, but you don't think he's a good enough man to raise your child in his way. His discipline is too tough or whatever, you know. It just makes me mad when I see that. You know, let the man is a man. If he's doing a good job being as a man, you know, trying to take care of his family, let him raise that kid. Do what you got to do. Turn him into a man. You know, and that's what I did with my son. You know, I taught him how to be a man. You know, take care of your family, go to work. You know, do what you got to do to be a man, and never point the finger at someone else when things go wrong in your life. You have to take the blame for anything that happens in your life. Stand up, okay? If you mess something up, whatever, just go say, hey, I screwed up, and how can I fix it? Simple, okay? If a person won't let you fix it, that's their problem now. At least you stood up as a man saying, look, I screwed up. I'm facing my problem that I created, and I want to fix it now. How can I fix it? And they should give you a chance to fix it. That's a man to me, you know. Face it, fess up. You know, don't try to hide it. Don't try to brush it under the rug. You know, that's a simple way that's the simp way. A simp will do that, you know, or point the finger at somebody else. No, they did it. It wouldn't have happened unless so-and-so didn't do that. If they would have done this and this and that, it wouldn't have never happened. But it happened to you. So you have to say, hey, even if it was the other person's fault, you know, say, hey, look, hey, happened on my watch. So, hey, I'm not gonna sit there and point the finger at so-and-so. So, hey, what do I have to do to fix it? So, anyway, so that's how I taught my son, you know, be a man and do what you gotta do. And that's what he's doing. You know, he's taking care of his family. And I got 2 beautiful grandkids. And he adopted 2 boys that I call my family, my grandkids. They're my boys. And I got 2 grand boys and 2 granddaughters. So, you know, and he's doing a good job. He's taking care of them. And he doesn't have to ask nobody for nothing. And I'm proud of him. And, you know, that's what you want to see from your kids when they're grown. And, you know, I have another daughter that just got her own place. You know, she's still young. She just got her own place and she's doing good. And I'm actually going to call her later. Her birthday's coming up. I already sent her a present. I'm sending her a card and probably some money. So she's going to see this video if I post it before she, you know, before her birthday. She's like, oh, Dad, send me some money, whatever. But, you know, anyway, it's just, I like to see, you know, people, I always say young people doing good. You know, I can say, hey, that person was raised right and they had a good parent. You know, even though, like, I didn't have my dad, but my mom, yeah, I got in my share of trouble, you know, but my friends knew if they were doing something really bad, they said, hey, Castle, you need to go home because I don't want to deal with your mama. And so, you know, a lot of times I got out of trouble because of my mom. My mom was tough, very tough, still is pretty tough, but she's a little light on her grandkids and great grandkids. She let them get away with murder, and I have to tell her about that all the time. I tell her, if that was me, you would have whipped my behind by now. You would have tore me up. Anyways, but you know, she's still a strong black woman, and I have a lot of respect for her. And you know, we just gotta, you know, we gotta raise these kids right. We should let the system raise them. We should let the world raise our kids. We shouldn't let video games raise our kids or movies and TV. We should let them. We spend time with our kids. We raise our kids. When my kids was on summer, I still sat down and taught them, you know, and I had booklets. Before you do anything, it's not a free ride on summertime. You're not just going to lay around and watch TV all summer long. No, you're going to do some work, some math problems, I never really got into the history. I taught them real history, you know, but, you know, my daughter, she knew how to read. She read the Bible. We read up, you know, that's history to me, okay? But I taught them math problems, you know, how to read, all this stuff. She had her books. We'd go to the library. I'd let her pick any book she wanted, and she'd read it, and then she'd write me a book report. She'd tell me all about the book. I made her write it down. And my kids knew how to write in cursive. So, you know, I made sure that they knew how to write in cursive. And this cop going over there. Anyways, you know. But, oh, he's pulling someone over. Anyways. But yeah, I was their father and their teacher, you know. And you know, I didn't let them just get away with just doing nothing. You know, they went outside for the day, you know, after they got done with their work and stuff. And, you know, they played outside. Even though we had a small yard, we lived in a little cul-de-sac, little fourplex, whatever. And, you know, they ride their bikes out there. And, but, you know, hey, I made them go outside. You're going to go outside. But I got them a basketball hoop, play some basketball, do something. And, you know, and I would make time to go to the park so they can run, you know, ride their bikes at the park. I'd ride with them. We'd ride up the road, go to the park. And what I'm trying to say, you spend time with your kids. Don't just, you know, you got to make time with your kids. I got family members that got kids that they don't do nothing with. They say that I'm taking them to the park, but, you know, while you at the park with them, you know, you're not watching your kids, or you sipping on some cognac or something, you know, and you getting drunk, and then now you driving your kids. You ain't out there playing with them. I was out there playing with my kids, you know. I was, you know, hey, making up games. I taught them the games I played when I was a kid. You know, dodgeball. They took that out of school. You can't play dodgeball. They said it was too violent. You know, we played kickball. You know, we had this game called Pac-Man. You know, it's kind of like freeze tag, but you played it on the basketball court. But it's good if you have more kids and you had the whole both sides of the court, and you got to stay on the line. So, and we play freeze tag on there. You better not get off that line. You get off the line, you're out. But it was we called it Pac-Man. That was the funnest game ever, you know, when we was little. But so I'm just saying, you know, we made up stuff like that to play. And, you know, even though I only had 2 sisters, and we played freeze tag outside, just the 3 of us. And sometimes neighbor kids would come over and we'd all be outside playing tag. And we'd be out there for hours. And you better not move. You better not move. You frozen for real. You are frozen. And you move, you ain't playing no more. Nah, we don't want to play with you because you don't stay frozen. Will you let me stay frozen for an hour? And then nobody can come tag you out. You better stay there until your teammate come tag you out. And you might sit there for an hour. But you better, man, hopefully you don't have to pee because you stuck. But it was serious. It was that serious. So, you know, these kids, they give up too quick. You know, you can ask my sisters, man, we was out there. You know, you better pee on yourself. You better not move. But I don't know. I'm just saying it was different. You know, we had lots of fun, and you know, like we ate fresh fruit off of the trees. You can't even find a tree with fresh fruit on it now. You know, nobody's got apple trees and stuff in their yard and plum trees. I'm trying to grow some right now. You know, we got plum trees and pear trees and apple trees and stuff in our yard, and it's so hard because of the weather, the change in the weather and stuff. It's so hard for that stuff to grow right now. And I don't know, we're fertilizing it, we're watering it, we're doing everything we can to get, because it will grow so naturally without, we didn't have to do nothing to these trees. They'd be full with plums and apples and pears, and we just go out there and pick them off. And we didn't care, you know, when half the time we didn't wash them off. You know, God made dirt don't hurt. So we was eating all that stuff. And that's what God put it here for us to eat. You know, we should be eating all these chemicals and stuff they're putting in our food. We're not getting the right nutrients in our food right now. We're really not. You know, when it comes from the earth, God put it here. It comes from the earth. We're supposed to be connected to the earth. The earth is our lifeline, and people don't understand that. Oh, it's just the earth. No. The earth is our lifeline. If we didn't have earth keeps us alive, and people don't understand that. You know, when we're drinking water from the earth, we're supposed to drink it from earth. Now, okay, yeah, you got to filter some of the stuff out, yeah, but you're filtering too much out of the water, and you're not getting the minerals and stuff that's in our natural water. So then our body is just like, it's not getting hydrated like it's supposed to, because we're not getting the right minerals. Because we're buying bottled water. I drink out of the hose. You know, yeah, I'm drinking right. Yeah, it'd be some, you know, chunks of dirt in it, but what is it gonna? It never hurt me. Okay, it was clear water, for real. It was clear water, and we had a pump and everything, and it filtered through it. But we didn't have all these Brita, whatever you say it, filters and stuff in our water and stuff growing up. But and all these softeners. Almost missed my spot, my turn. Actually, this ain't my turn. I must have missed it. But yeah, we didn't have all that stuff growing up, and now, you know, they're tampering with our water, our fruits and vegetables, our food, our meat. Cows, you know, our meat is like mixed with so much stuff, different stuff now. It's not a cow, no, you know, it's our cows was fed grass, hay, you know, and that's what they ate. They didn't eat anything else. They were feeding all these cows, other cows, a couple years back, and called it mad cow disease. So, you know, the cow's supposed to eat grass, and that's it. And God made it that way, you know, to where, and for us too, we're not supposed to be eating certain things that we put in our body. Certain things that are put in our foods aren't supposed to be there. So now, you know, now we're dying from our foods and stuff we're eating. People are getting cancer and all that, and they're wondering why. Give me a break. Come on now. All the stuff they're putting in our food, we're not getting the right nutrients and stuff in our food. There's no nutrition in our food like it should be. Like an apple, you know, I remember how apples used to taste. Oh, it used to be, you bite into an apple, juice would be flying down your lip, falling down your lip and stuff. It's juicy, it squirts in your eye, man. I remember that. And an orange, man, was so just big, and it wasn't even, actually it wasn't as big as they are now. It was a little smaller, not small as the little cutie pie, whatever you call them, the little oranges. It was a little bigger than that. But you peel an orange, and it was just like you're drinking orange juice out of that orange. It was that juicy, and the taste was different. Way just natural taste in orange or apple, plum. And now when I eat the stuff, I'm like, what? You know, it doesn't taste like it used to. I remember these things. And I know there's a lot of people that still remember, you know, how things used to taste, and it don't taste like that anymore. And why? You know, why do they got to tamper with our food? You know, I used to be able to ride down the street and there'd be an apple tree in someone's yard or whatever. I can just run up to the fence and grab an apple and keep going, you know? That's my lunch. And I was good with that. So, you know, and now you try to, well, you're not going to find an apple tree, you know, on the side of the road or anything. And, you know, if you go in someone's yard, they'll send you to jail saying you're stealing. You know, an apple, okay, you're stealing now, whatever, you know. But I'm just saying, times is different. Times has changed. And, you know, like I said, it was, you know, it was simpler to me. It was simpler back in the day when I was growing up. To, you know, kids can be kids, you know. Now a kid can't be a kid no more. You know, they want to drug them up with all these pills and all these say, oh, they got ADHD, they got what's all the new ones, you know, the Asperger's, they got autistic and all these things. You know, it's just they learn differently. That's it. You know, like they try to say I was ADHD, and which, okay, maybe I am, maybe I'm, whatever. You know, I just learned different. You know, I'm very smart at a lot of things, but I'm very dumb at a lot of other things I'm not interested in. You know, I might not be a mathematician. I might not can read a book as fast as the next person. You know, but I can read. You know, I can read just fine. So basically, you know, I'm gonna wrap this up. anyways, more about me. I was raised in California my whole life, and lived in a small town, and never lived anywhere else for 45 years, 44 years. When me and my wife, we decided we're gonna move out of state. First, my son moved. Him and his wife, they moved to Oklahoma. Then they moved to Texas. And me and my wife, we were looking in Oklahoma when we went to visit, and we fell in love with Oklahoma because it's country. We're both country. So then he moved back. He moved to Texas. He's still in Texas. But anyway, so me and my wife, I packed up and moved. I sold all my cars. I had a bunch of cars that was just sitting around in the yard that I wasn't even done with, but I was able to raise enough money to pack up and move. And we didn't even have a place to live, so we packed up all of our belongings, sold everything. We kept her car, got a truck, moved a truck, and hit the road. Ended up in Texas, and we started looking in Texas, and we ended up finding a place in Oklahoma, and that's where we've been. And we're happy now. Not to say we wasn't happy, during this whole time. We've been married for 15 years. We've known each other for 30, and we've been dating off and off for the past 30 years. And we've been happy, but right now it seems like we're happier because we're living the life we've always wanted. Things aren't perfect. It's not perfect yet at all. I do want to find some land which is accessible. California wasn't accessible for real unless you was a millionaire. And that's the honest to God truth. You have to have $1 million to buy this type of land that you can find out here. And it's just way different. And even though when we were in California, she was making like almost 30 an hour, and I was making like 20 something an hour, and that's pretty good money. And we should have been able to find a place, apartment or something, but we had to live with her mom for over 5 years, and we were looking every day for an apartment, and we couldn't find nothing. We wasn't qualified for nothing out there. They said we had to make 3 times the amount of the rent, which the rent was like $3 grand for an apartment. We're like, come on, are you serious? So that's why there was a lot of homeless people too, because they couldn't afford the rent or to buy. So when I realized that I'm never gonna buy property ever, that's when I said I'm gonna move somewhere where I can buy property. So that's where we are now. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this this video right now, and I just want to say God bless you all. Hang in there. If you got any questions or anything, I'm gonna make more videos. I'm trying to get used to talking, and my brain kind of shuts down sometimes. I don't know what to think, what I'm thinking or whatever, or what to say. They say, oh, it's ADHD because my main brain is like running at 1,000 miles an hour. But just bear with me. I'm pretty smart. I got a lot of knowledge. I'm 49 years old, so I got a lot that I know, and I can help people if you got any questions or anything. So leave some comments and subscribe, because it's only going to get better. So this is a new channel, so I got other channels. I got Manish Brothers, I got the airbrushing channel, specialized airbrushing, and this one's Castermind, and I'm starting another one, Pastor Caster. I'm trying to get it right. I want to say Pastor, but I put it as Pastor Caster, which hey, like I said, we own the church, so I know Jesus. So I'm going to be talking about God and the world, Jesus, what we should be doing, all those things, and whatever, you know, whatever comes to mind at the time, maybe reading scriptures and praying. So, you know, check out those other channels. I'll put it up on the screen. So just bear with me. It's gonna get better. So all right, holla at you later.